Okay, we're back. Oops. Whoops. Oops. Okay, so I had the intro for the internet service to find people. And so I wrote them. I don't remember if you had to pay for it or not. But I wanted this letter to get to her no matter what. And so here's that letter to the search firm. I've just signed on to your website in an effort to locate a person I once knew in college at Purdue. Her name is, and I took it out. It is very difficult for me to write this and simplify the matter to you at this late hour, but I'll try. Jill is without any doubt in my mind the most influential person I've ever met and hope to meet while I reside on this planet. The thought of her terrifies me to this day, as she did 28 years ago when I never had the courage to ask her out on a date. When I first met her freshman year at Purdue, my adolescence was interrupted in high school when a girl I was much in puppy love with was killed in an automobile accident right before homecoming senior year. My shyness of love never recovered from that night. And that's the way I like. Shyness of love never recovered. I like the way that. You're a wordsmith, aren't you? Betcha. Regardless, Jill was the first person who made me believe life was worth fighting for. Oh. If in fact beauty was strength, and a journey in life was really a marathon that could end up taking 26.2 years to complete for a kid like me, I would very much like to let her know that with her spirit and her spirit alone is what gets me through all the hurdles life throws my way. If it weren't for her, there'd be no fight left in me. Not then, not now, not ever. Oh, that is why the big guy said keep writing. Because I hope all creep has been removed. Because, not that I was ever suicidal, but I had no desire to live. None. It was no ambition. It was like, oh, I'll go to Purdue, get a degree. But, I just want to meet someone. That's all I want to do. I want to meet someone. Okay, I'll get the degree. Okay, I'll take the job at Marathon. I just want to meet someone. Is it asking too much? And all these other little things and that's the mindset, was I want to find that person. I want to find that person. And life just filled in the gaps. And now I'm kind of looking back and it's like, wow, there's just like a trailblaze of, determination, but all the little, I went to grad school because I had to, I didn't like my job, so I had to go to grad school to get out of it, and that seemed like a logical thing, but, was that my goal, or, nah, not really. I mean, it was the thing to do. I hope that makes, at least understand a little bit more. The mindset was, just want to meet the person, that's all. And then here I think that, like any other person, there have been trials and tribulations, and trials with Cook County court system, and tribulations of a malevolent environment growing up as a withdrawn kid. Without doubt, when there were the lowest of lows, and tomorrow only occurred because my last breath couldn't be snuffed out, there was Jill. Not physically, but the imagery of someone who was worth fighting for. Jill and Jill alone. Oh, God. It's alright. Everyone on this planet needs a Jill in his or her life. 500-point font. Whatever style you want. How can you ever thank someone for being there when they actually never were there? I know that may sound stupid, but think about it. What keeps the human spirit alive? Hope? Hope. It's not rhetorical, Brian. What keeps the human spirit alive? Hope. At least that's what kept me going. A vision of hope. My hope. Again, not trying to resonate self-pity, but we've all been there to one degree or another, and hope is what gets us through. Oh, good Lord. Not that it matters. Jill was my hope, and I just wanted to find her and thank her. There's no doubt she thinks I'm a goofball, crazy, and possibly doesn't ever even remember me in many ways. That's great. I truly hope her life is full and complete and happy. I just wanted to find her, say, thank God I met you freshman year at Shreve Hall, and move on. More so, I think someone like her father would appreciate the integrity I developed because of Jill. Her folks have to be unbelievably proud of what Jill represents, at least to me, and I attribute my successes in life solely to her vision. Her eyes, God, her eyes. Her eyes are my truth in life. Yeah, I'll just leave it. And that one picture I had of her in that flight is just her looking at me, not with you crazy maniac, but just like, how can I help you? Because we're, flying around, and she just looked at me, and I said, I gotta get a picture of this. But she had that look in her eyes like, I want to help you. like find farmland, not help you in life. Let's get that straight. She wanted to help me find more farmland for my glacial tills and how that helped farmers in Indiana. But that look, I just kind of transposed it. So, anyway, it would be shameful if I am not able to pass on this thought. If I am not able to pass on this thought and not seem like a dork in the process. Please utilize your resources in this effort. I know one thing. I can make her laugh for the rest of her life, and then some, if she knew what it took to get me to write this email. The trips to Dallas alone 20 years ago would put every writer currently on strike in shame for creative endeavor. Sincerely, with a tremendous amount of love and respect, and of course, hope, Brian. Now, I never wrote that. I hate that word. I hate it more than the word loathe and hate mean. I hate and loathe that word more than what it's supposed to mean, because it's the most empty, hollow thing I've ever heard. And whenever someone says show love or we gotta love each other, no, that's the most empty, hollow thing I've ever heard. At least the Greeks had some things right. They had 4 definitions of love. And I think one I'm looking at is the agapo. The appropriate one, the apropos agapo love. Yeah, we went full circle on that. Moving on. I added that if you were to receive this message and ever wanted to get in contact with me, that information was given. I'm back to the letter, obviously writing to Jill. See, I even used a different font to show where the letter ended and where it began. But this isn't the font I use. I usually use this. Not that it matters. That's what I use. That even dates the letter. New Times New Roman. That's for everyone. So, however, since the time of that writing, my brain has remained intact. For now, I'm afraid. I'm not ready for any communication after I've spilled my guts here. We'll see. Oh, I'm afraid I'm not ready for any communication after I've spilled my guts here. We'll see. But I've had to do what I've had to do. That's so true. I mean, I didn't want to talk to her after I sent it, and it's like, well, I'm not dying. And my little drama, I guess that's the Lucas when he was in the hospital at the end. He came out, he was okay. And then went on to, anyway. I wanted to crawl back into a hole. It's like, well, now I've done it. You know, you threw the water balloon and it hit him in the head, and now they're looking right up at you going, why did you do that? Why did you throw a water balloon at me? Oh, here we go. I'd only add to the aforementioned that Steve Brucker, that kid I came up with, and we went to Six Flags. Oh, okay, just read it before you blather. Oh my God. I gotta turn the radio down, hold on. I guess I don't have to shout over the radio. Jeez. Neil, not the radio, but anyway. Yeah, I forgot about that. The kid I came up with. So I took Steve, you know, Children's Hospital Steve, and I came up with him, and we went to Six Flags when you had that terrible horrible eye infection. He met you, and then you showed him around DFW's Air Traffic Control Center where you worked, and in 5 minutes you overturned all the architectural stuff I was encouraging him to pursue for years. Excuse me. Nice job. Steve talked about you quite a bit. The best Thanksgiving I ever had was being with him and his mom during his final days in '88. Learned more about life than ever possible. He was a better person having known you, and you were very inspirational to him. Maybe I talked to Steve about you a lot too. Who knows? Oh, God. I'm going to save this for later. But, I mean, real quick. I said, I'm going to come through Dallas, and I'm taking this kid to a Michigan football game. And he goes, you want to go? You know, he always wants to go to Six Flags. And she goes, yeah. That'd be great. So I thought, oh, I'm showing her I'm an adult around kids, and here's the volunteer thing, because I want to do a whole thing with Steve. But we drove up from Houston, and he bought all these fireworks with him that I can't remember if I knew or I let him buy them. I think I let him buy some, but then he bought like $80 worth, or I ended up, he wanted to buy $80 worth, and I only let him do 40, and I paid the rest or something. Because I always do things in 40, 80, or 500 or something. But, and we, oh God, that was a trip. But we stopped by, and when we got there, she had this horrible pink eye or something. And she had these, we had the same kind of pair of sunglasses with the little, they're round, and they've got a little leather patch on the side. Skiers used to wear them. And she had a white pair, and they look so cool. And she wore them, but she had this horrible eye thing. And she ended up having to duck out because it got so bad. It was like, well, okay, we're heading up. And I took him to a football Michigan game. But anyway, I forgot about that. But yeah, kid was into architecture, and I'm giving him all these, you know, what can you do to a kid that knows that he's got months, maybe a year if he's lucky? You know, and the kid was inspired by stuff still when he knew. Oh, man. 99.9% of the people, if they had the gumption of this kid, when he knew his fate was months or away, oh, God. And it's the guy, I took the guy to go see Hellraiser. And he was into death metal. It's like, how do you... Oh, Steve, I don't think you should be into death metal because of the seriousness of what you have. He is a CF kid, cystic fibrosis, if that got lost. But you got to give the kid his wishes. You don't start correcting. And I don't know, Hellraiser's not a good movie. Oh, what the heck. I thought it was disgusting, but the kid lit up. And he wasn't evil. He was just a goofy teenage kid. And I know I've got pictures of him, and I know that they're somewhere, my really important place, and I have no idea where that is. But I know it's in Pentwater because when I came to Ann Arbor, I was only going to be here for 4 weeks, or 4 months. So, really heavy stuff is back there, so we'll see. Anyway. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Okay. He gave up on the architecture thing because this cool girl, she goes, Steve goes, you like her, don't you? I said, oh, it's kind of complicated. He goes, nah, I can tell you like her. Because he knew I didn't date, and he called my bluff at the children's hospital. He said, you're just here to meet chicks. I said, I am not. And he goes, you are too. He goes, what's my name? I said, he goes, well, you've been volunteering here for 3 years. What's my name? What's her name, Faith? Okay. No, little exaggeration, but Steve called my bluff. Yeah, I love the kid because of that. And I don't use that word love, but I do when it's from me, because I know it means something for me, but not anyone else. Okay, moving on. As one could imagine, aside from the recent little hiccup in my health, I am in a state of transition for the time being. State of Michigan's economy is about to drive me to the poorhouse, but that's another story altogether. So I was using that back then too. Actually, I'll add exactly where I am today just for kicks and giggles. Oh. I've got this old house, money pit times 1,000, and added an office myself. Hint to the world, never let an engineer around power tools. Aside from the heating system, I did all the construction. Yep. And one of the things, when she moved to Dallas, her and her husband built her house, but I always took it literally. And they hired a contractor, and I'm sure she'd whack a hammer and, power tool up and stuff. She looked like the gal on Tool Time with Tim, what's his name's little show. So yeah, she could carry it. But anyway, so I'm kind of letting her know. I was like, you think? But then I realized that she probably just got a contractor and oversaw the contractor when she said she did it herself. I don't know. Irrelevant. This isn't being braggadocious. This is an apology to all my professors and past employers who thought I was smart. I have 3 dogs, labs, like your Thunderbolt and Lightfoot or whatever their names were. She had a black lab and a golden. And she had 2 names, but I kept calling them Thunderbolt and Lightfoot because I could never remember. It was like Midnight and Goldenrod or something girly. No. But I just call them Thunderbolt and Lightfoot because they look like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. And it just turned out that we ended up getting 2 dogs. Not because of Jill. No. We walked into the shelter and we were going to get Casey. That's Mick's dog of 14 years. And I probably say this, but... Oh, I do. Okay. Casey was, Mickey's dog of 14 years. And then she was getting a little bit, not funny, but just didn't want to do anything. And I was like, oh, come on, Case. So we go, let's go get her a pup. Then we can rotate, if something happens to Casey, she doesn't live to be 90, then in people years, we'll have a dog, and it can kind of, I like that, it's gross to call it rotation, but that's what it is. And we walked in, and then we got twin pups. Sky, Dinkus, and Piper, the stoner. Piper would just sit there. Oh, no, but I inherited another dog later that trumped the stoner look that Piper had. Piper would just stare off into oblivion. No, I got Bailey from some other people when I was alone. Only because they wanted to get rid of the dog and didn't want to put her down and knew I'd take her. But it's a little bit longer story. But, so we ended up getting a black lab and a yellow lab. Oh my gosh, the parallels in life. Yeah, Piper falls off the bed and doesn't wake up. Yep. And if it weren't for the two, yeah, here you go. If it weren't for the 2-for-1 at the Mason County shelter, well, I wouldn't have had the dog pound. Or I would have the dog pound. The three amigos, according to the kennels, where they go when I race in Chicago. So, in that little sentence, okay, so we walked in, and we went to look for a dog one other time, Mick and I walked in, and it was outside, not that it matters, Muskegon? I think it's around Muskegon, because we passed it all the way on the way back from racing. And we go, let's stop in and see if, get a dog, because it early race or early finish or something. And it was like 4 in the afternoon. We stop in, and I go in, and I start welling up. I didn't start bawling, but I start welling up, and I bolt to the car. I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it. And so when we were not desperately, but we were looking to get Casey another dog. And long story short is this gal got her name, said, "Wow, we just got a bunch of lab pups, and first come, first serve, but I'm giving you first notice." So we bolted up to Ludington, where Mason County shelter was, and walk in, and I liked the black lab because of, well, how was it? Because the typo was a black lab, and I don't think I wanted a black lab because of typo. I wanted the yellow, and Mick wanted the black lab. So, yeah, it kind of did this weird loop where I related to Dinkus, Sky, the black lab, and Mick related to Piper, the stoner that just looks out into blue. Not that Mick did that, but I wasn't with her at all the Grateful Dead concerts she went to, all 83 of them, or 86, whichever that number is. But no, Mickey related to Piper, and I related to Dinkus, like, oh my gosh. Because we get blamed for the same things. We come home, and there'd be red ink all over the floor. And I go, "Sky?" And Sky would just look at me like, "What?" I go, "What did you do?" Didn't do nothing. And if you go, "What did you do?" to a dog, whatever that tone is, a dog will respond. If they're guilty, they'll respond. But I looked at Sky and said, "What did you do?" Sky just looked at me, "I didn't do anything." And so I started kind of scold Sky, like, "Now you're getting an attitude now." And I look over, and there's Piper in the corner, cowering, and she's got red ink all over her lips, or jowls, or whatever dogs have. And she was the one chewing on the pen. And Sky's going, "Ah ha ha ha!" Started to blame me. Look at your little... And that's what Piper would just do, all these things, got Sky in trouble. Oh, Piper was wicked. 8 things, Sky didn't. Sky got blamed for a lot of things that I don't think she did. Anyway, but she was a mischievous... Oh my God. I'm grateful I don't have pictures. Because after the house went into foreclosure, had to take him back to... Took him to a shelter in Grand Rapids. That's the longest miserable 90-minute drive. I didn't say a word on the way back. Mick drove. It was after everything blew up, and she goes, we can't do the dogs. And so I went with her. I give myself credit for that. I didn't let her do it by herself. She appreciated that, but I didn't say a word on the way back. She goes, "Are you all right?" First time she had given me any type of sympathy since the explosion. And I didn't, I might have said just no or whatever. But, oh man, that was brutal. Give the dogs back that you rescued? That's uncalled for. Anyway, 3 amigos. That's what, when we went racing every week, we'd take them to the pound. $22 for 3 dogs overnight. What? $22 for 3 dogs overnight, and they got runs and exercise. They loved going to the kennels. And so we'd be one night, usually get back, drop them off in the afternoon, go down to the race in the morning, and come back and pick them up. So it'd be one overnight. And $22 for 3 dogs. In Chicago, it'd be $100 for 1 dog. Oh my God. Anyway. Stage Inc. is back to the letter. Oh my gosh. Stage Inc. is the writing illustration venture I've been working on for umpteen years with limited fiscal success. It'd be doing better if I didn't give away everything for free to people I know. That's true, I don't sell things to people I know. Never, never have, never, never will. Mostly yacht racing images and illustrations. Mostly yacht racing images and illustrations. But include some local stuff to honor Los Turistas who invade Pentwater like locusts with Hummers during the summer. Fortunately, I'm gone on most weekends racing and miss the fun. Fun as in every Norman Rockwell-esque art trade show to sell immaterial things like tree stumps shaped like moose with a building clock or barometer. Oh my God, every nick, that's where you get people with OCD is like, oh, did you make that? Oh, that's really neat. You like it? I'll make you one. No, that's okay. No, I will. I've got another tree stump and I'll make you this little figurine and I'll put a barometer in it. But that's all the art shows are, just one idea times a million, which, imagine that running theme. Anyway, I still do engineering consulting work, but will be limited due to the current health issues. Kind of like saying I'm still an astronaut, but since NASA hasn't returned my phone call, I'm temporarily being placed on hold for the next shuttle mission. Oh, is there more truth than you know in that one? Anyway, it's all good. Just in the process of transition again. I also have a 4-car Amityville garage about to collapse that I always planned on rebuilding for Stage Inc.'s printer, poster, and production business. That's true. I had this, oh man, it was the perfect house for the plans, but those were my plans. God said, I don't like your plans. You're going to stick to my plan no matter what. And it was like, I had my plan when I had the job, and, Mick, okay, I can do without her. I'm back on my feet, baby. And God goes, no, you're not. No, you're not in the least. I got you for something else. 2018 is what I need you for, but we're 10 years away from that. Anyway, I'm in a trade show to sell my wares at the end of January. Oh, that's... Okay. Just read it, Brian. I'm in a trade show to sell my wares at the end of January, strictly sale. And I'm sharing a booth with Reach the World. Really cool website. My last remaining hero, Walter Cronkite, is on their advisory board. Oh, I didn't know that. I did know that. I don't remember knowing it. Kids Sailing Stuff, which is where I try to give support with the poster sales. That's true. When I say last hero, that's only because my restraining order from George Clooney really ticked me off. Even I didn't understand that one. I didn't understand. You have to write about it. You could just delete it, dude. The writing stuff is continually being worked on, and my next major vocational stop will most likely be in education. God help those people. I'm really excited about finally getting some things into production now that I have the time to pursue all this. Now, see? I knew I had reason to think she might show up at Strictly Sale. I forgot I put that in the letter. So all that time I'm thinking she knows where I'm going to be. She's got the name. She's got the booth. She's smart. She'll put it together and she'll show up and surprise me. Oh ho ho. Am I clever giving her the clues for our little reunion? Right, God? You got it? You giving those messages to her? Is she picking them up? Oh, my gosh. And the only thing I've got going on this week... Oh, the only thing I've got going is a week-long ski trip to Tahoe at the end of February. 18 of us, mostly skier racer combos, sailboat racing combos, a scary mix, topped off with a bunch of us, 10 plus, headed for the weekend in San Francisco for the 2-day Big Daddy Regatta. That was absolutely the best thing I've ever done for myself in a superficial way. And I'll let it explain. My professional goal is to do a Bay Area race, saltwater, currents, steady 25 gusts, winds, toink. You have no idea what racing is like when 40, 50-foot boats are flying feet from each other just before a start. Then something breaks and a 65-knot gale line is approaching from the west. And sharks come out of the water, and then a giant squid lands on board and goes to beer. I've seen it happen, really. Didn't you see the latest in the Pirates series yet? Pirates of the Caribbean? Ha ha! Okay, I suppose some sailors tend to exaggerate on occasion. So yeah, let me touch on the Big Daddy thing. So I knew my brain was blowing up, or had blown up. I'm going to live at this point. I somehow find out or call, regardless was the boat, but they always invited me to go on this ski trip with them, and I finally said, yeah, I will do it. So they said, absolutely, come on board. We got you, set up. I go, you guys doing the Big Daddy? They go, well, of course we're doing the Big Daddy. They've done it for 5 or 6 or 8 years up to that point. So we went out skiing. I just don't want to dwell on it because all we did was ski and then race at the end. But I held my own, but I had to rent skis. Oh, and I had parabolics, and I slalom. I'm tight leg guy, and these parabolic shaped things were not working. And I mean, I could parallel, but no, I'm a chop back and forth, knees together type skier, and these parabolics are just nah. So I was frustrated, but I did okay. I mean, they said, wow, you ski pretty well. You fall a lot better, because, man, when I fell, I just didn't stop, and I'd have to get someone to help me up. My legs were so weak, I could not get up. It was scary a couple times. Anyway, so I didn't fall. No, I mean, I doubt if I did any black diamond. I'd done a double black diamond before. And I was skiing with this gal, and she goes, you sure? I said, yeah. I have to say I did it. And I lost my gumption. I think I lost some other stuff, too. Unfortunately, it was below freezing temperature. But yeah, I looked down this one hill, and I go, I have to jump 6-8 feet just to start? That's going a little bit too fast for my liking. And of course it was right next to where the chair is, so I instantly became the guy who goes down sideways like, oh, I twisted my ankle and I can't ski. But I'd just bang this thing out like there's no tomorrow, people. But I was like, pizza, scissors, or however the French fries, scissors, or pizza with the snow plow and stuff. Oh, God, that was embarrassing. But, man, jump 6-8 feet, then all of a sudden, whoa. It's like, nah, I think we'll just tuck away the black diamond, say I did, and just call it a day. But black diamonds they were challenging. That was it. That was just above my level of comfort. And so, blue's too easy. And I say that like, oh yeah, mister, I grew up skiing at Villa Olivia. Well, let's just look at that, because I haven't talked about skiing much. Hold on. No, we're not going to do it, because we got to just do a whole thing on skiing. And I just don't need a breakaway, because I'd just go on for probably 3 more videos of yakking about skiing. It's like sailing, but much, much fewer stories and stuff. But anyway. But on this trip, we went skiing, and I held my own for the week. For the most part, I dropped out one day, skied all the other days, and did a rest on one of the days and held my own. But the thing was, I had no pain relief, because I got kicked out after the head blew up explosion. So I was a hurting cowboy. And the other thing is, Jill and I had talked subsequent to this letter, and I was going to meet her in Salt Lake. I'll just call it Salt Lake. And go skiing with her family. And I was hurting so much at the end of that week. And I told her I won't be able to make it. It'll be ugly. Because when I dropped out from doing the skiing with her, it was like Thursday, and we still had the racing to do. So I was getting a little bit whipped. Then I didn't have any boat shoes. I'll wrap that one up. I didn't have any boat shoes. All I had were winter boots, and that was it. So I did this race in San Francisco, the Big Daddy Regatta, barefoot. Yeah. But it was warm out, and it was maybe 15 winds. It was steady, nothing exciting. The waves were pretty tame, nothing more than 2 feet. But I was barefoot, baby. I had the little hippie thing going in San Francisco. But because I could not wear winter boots on someone else's boat. But was this a great trip? There were 18 at this condo, rented the condo, and there were like 12 of us in the condo, and then another group of people had another condo, but we met there for meals, and we had 1 or 2 guys who were in the food service business. 2 of these guys were in culinary school and stuff, so it kind of tells you they just don't eat burgers and fries. If we did, they were unbelievable. But we had lamb, and I'm wondering, we haven't gotten a bill yet, and all these people, they know what's going on with Mick and I, sorta. They know something's weird, and they know I have a health issue and stuff, and that Mick and I are done, but 6 months prior, Mick and I were, we were fleet people that people knew. Anyway. So, they ended up buying all this food and 2 racks of lamb and roast beef, and lunches were incredible, and Patsy, Stu's wife, now this is a different Stu. This is Regardless Stu, not Stu Elliott from Caprice. Different Stu. Stu's from Canada, and he's in the food services group. And they had all these, like, corn dogs and all these bizarre things from the companies that they're selling for. He was a salesman for them. And so we had all this supplemental food, which was outstanding. But I'm thinking this is going to be a $500 per person thing. Because it was, you could have booze or no booze. If you got tacked on to booze, if people drank whatever, if you're just beer and wine, so what? It's getting divided by you drank or you didn't drink. Which is good. I like it. Keep it simple. And you did meals, and you either did meals or no meals, and you drank or you didn't drink. So at the end of the week, get all the bills, throw them into a pot, divide by, boom. And so I'm worried by the end of this week that it's going to be a $400 or $500 bill. But, just not good at those things. $105 for everything. And that didn't include, or it did include, when we went in San Francisco, that this guy gave us fresh crabs and a lobster cookout thing. So we had, and it was it was true surf and turf. None of this Big Mac and a fillet of fish. My staple my surf and turf from Purdue. Oh my God, did we do right. And then the boat race was uneventful, but fun. And it was just one of those to say I did. But, went around Angel Island and Alcatraz. And there's a little spot where the current comes in from the ocean and it hits the still bay water, that was pretty weird. It was like a 4 or 5 foot swell. It's kind of neat. It's swell. And so, it was worth it because I knew I was going to tap out. I knew I was going to run out of money. And I think the whole trip cost me... Oh, that's the other thing. I took the train out and I saw Rich. Rich drove me to the ski place. He drove me from his place to that. I forgot that. So I took the train out, went there, did the boat race, and then took the train back. Oh, God, that was the best trip. And then Mick ended up picking me up at the train station because I had to go to Chicago and then go up to to Holland. And Mick picked me up. And that's when she goes, your girlfriend called you. Oh. Yeah, now there's some pieces coming together. So I think I got the letter first before things. Anyway. I'm going to wrap this one up a little early because, a little too much. Okay, but yeah, great. And I traded in my pair of 85 Dina Stars. I sailed with those things. Anyway, and God forbid okay, let me finish this one. And yes, I have had to trade in my pair of 85 Dina Stars finally and resort to, God forbid, rental status in the interim. Mind you, I can still carve the slopes fairly well. In the past couple of years have been merely a short pause in my Olympian effort to go down a green slope at least one more time. Skied in 04. With Tom. It was a Chicago or Wisconsin place. My current health says I can, and so I shall. Because I didn't want her to just, with your knees, you can't do anything. I said, I can still ski. I can still carve the slopes. That was my saying. I can cut them. Pentwater's been rezoned to a twink-free zone. Okay, honey. Okay, I'm going to wrap up.